Hello again, and welcome to the Author Roundup. This special segment of the Book Connection Show showcases emerging indie authors who join us for a discussion of their newly published books. Join us for a conversation with our next guest author. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Author Roundup. Today we have author Peter Jam of the book Magic Starts With You, Doggy Education for All. How are you, Peter? Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, how are you?
Good,
Thanks.
very good. Can you tell us a little bit about the book?
Only a little bit?
You can tell us a lot. Yeah, we want to know.
Well, Magic Starts With You, Dog Education for All is for all, first of all. So it's not only for dog owners or parents, what I call in the book. So it's not only for dog parents, it's for everybody. It's kind of an approach, which is a relational approach, a relationship approach, which I can go deeper soon. This approach that in the book, it's mostly about dogs, but it can be also in any relationship, in any friendship, in any, let's say, connection or communication.
So this book is about less about, you would say, like obedience and rewards and things like that, and more about the relationship between owner and dog or pet, right?
Exactly. So I would always put these three things that is kind of new in in the pet and human connection or relationship, which is, first of all, I have a major in pet psychology. So I talk so much about the psychological realm of especially in dogs here, because we're talking about more into dogs than other pets. This is number one. Number two, there's a chapter which is very, very essential. It's called Energy Foundation. So I talk about energy, frequency, vibes, so those things are so much essential to connect to any sentient being, humans included. And number three, it goes the relationship built up. So in the relationship built up, I always say that relationship, leadership, and friendship are one. I represent it in the book as one. So if we're gonna build a relationship, it is also a friendship, and it needs some kind of leadership. The dog figure here is kind of metaphoric, and at the same time experimental, because if you cannot practice these three things on your dog, with your dog, it's going to be so hard to practice with human beings. And I also represent what is the basic difference between animals and humans, which is the six mental faculties that we have: imagination, reason, perception, all of those things. It's deeply in the book. I explain that dogs don't have that much, even memory. They have very, very short and different than our memory, which is like a world of memories, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
Why the dogs live it in the here and the now. So that's why it should be so much easier to build up this relationship or friendship or, the leadership with a dog than any sentient being, especially humans. But once you practice this with your dog and things are working out, you see like how the communication is, it's leveling up, you and your dog. Then you can take this relational approach and take it outside of the doggy world to practice it, with your partner, with your mom, with your family, with your, eventually even any kind of relationship. It can be even when we talk about foreign policy, and I worked also as ambassador for peace in the United Nations, and I also taught nonviolent communication. So it can be even practiced between countries here. What is it in particular? So there is the connection and communication at first, and then there is earning respect developing trust, love, and joy. So there is this phases that every single person must pass with their own pets, with their own dogs. And I explain deeply in the book how do I see what is earning respect, for example. And I have done a deep research with the 4 languages that I read and write and speak, and etymology of the words and everything. And I reached to some kind of meaning, which is kind of simplest meaning, which is the core of what really is earning respect and what really is developing trust. And eventually to reach the love and joy, not on the superficial level, but on a deep level, that we respect each other, we trust each other. So if I tell my dog to do something, he respects me and he does it. That doesn't mean that he's afraid from me. The respect comes lovingly here. He knows, he adores me. So in the respect, there is something that you admire whoever you respect. You admire also. So, and also in the trust, he trusts me that he's going to be okay if he does something that he's afraid to do it. Today I was working actually with a little puppy, very cute puppy, that puppies usually see down, like, down the stairs, or like, we call it altitude, not the height, altitude, from up to down. Even if it's from the couch to down, they see it double, triple. So they don't see it as we see until they develop how they see. So for them to jump, it's a big thing for a puppy. Puppy means like, 3, 4 months, 5 months. So today, there was this little puppy I posted on Instagram, a little story, how he's jumping down the couch, because he trusted the first time he did it, and he saw that, wow, I can do it,
Yeah.
Boost. And I encourage more. He starts jumping more. He knows that he's not going to get hurt, even though like something really big for him. So encouragement plays a big role. But first, as I said, the relationship approach of earning respect and developing trust should be at their highest in order to. So if somebody you don't trust, if they encourage you, would you do that? You would still be afraid. So like, no, I'm not doing that.
So yeah, it's a lot of psychology, like you were talking about, like the relationship and like a deeper meaning than just like training your dog to, do like an action or anything. So you said that you took pet psychology and you also are a professional dog trainer. Do those go hand in hand? Do professional trainers like have to do a psychology class, or is that something that you wanted to understand and do?
No, whatever I have done, it was just out of passion. So it wasn't necessity. And I never ever planned to be a dog trainer or a pet psychologist. So my main major is music. So now they like, okay, then where is dogs and where is dog training? There wasn't. It's just my passion. I was studying on the side until the COVID happened. So pre-COVID, dogs were so much fun for me. Like, I was just experimenting. I was like, just like whenever I have time, I walk somebody's dog and then start to experiment things that I'm learning. Nobody knew that I was studying pet psychology. Nobody knew that I got graduated as a professional dog trainer. And my opinion was that nobody should know, because, I'm a peace ambassador. I'm a musician. I'm touring the world. Everything is good. I'm doing music is my passion. Preaching peace and teaching peace building, nonviolent communication. It's also my passion. So once the COVID happened, March 11th, when the lockdown happened, I launched magicdogs.net. So the same day, as if everything was ready, adversity into opportunity, getting an opportunity from an adversity. So that was it. I know that I cannot work with humans anymore. I cannot travel anymore. What I can do is just play my guitar on the Zoom, and it's not going to be the same, as I'm a touring artist mostly. So I said, you know what? What is my next passion? And I had like this couple of certificates I'm just dropped somewhere. And why don't I do something like totally different? Because I know, like, I live in Center City, Philadelphia, and I know how the training goes in the States or elsewhere. Mostly there is two schools. There is negative reinforcement, which is the old school, and the positive reinforcement, which is the new propaganda, the new marketing. So people always like to get into the positive, they don't like negative. But let me explain you what both are, because mine is outside of all. It's not negative reinforcement. It's not positive. It's not reinforcement. It's relationship. So if I have a relationship with you, friendship, whatever we're going to call it, I don't need reinforcements. I have to build up my relationship with you, and you build up your relationship with me, and we where it goes. So for me, dogs are the same. So it's just like you take the lead more. So if I'm building a relationship with you, one time I tell you, let's go get a coffee. The second time you say like, oh, let's come over to me. So one time I'm leading, the second time you're leading as human. You see, because I told you the friendship, relationship, leadership are one. In the doggy thing, there isn't one time me, one time you thing. In the leadership is leadership. So I have to initiate everything. So in the doggy thing, it's always the me that, like the human should take the lead. And when I say about leadership, I explain it in the book. Leadership doesn't mean being authoritarian and, kill your followers if they're not following you. So in leadership is a very basic thing, but at the same time, we have to understand how we can attract and demonstrate leadership to our followers, like in this term is the dog, so that the dog starts to trust you. The difference between human to human leadership and dog-human relationship is that you usually follow leaders that promise you something. From the president to the voting system to your boss to everybody. They promise you, your husband or your dad, they promise you. In the dog world, you cannot promise. There is no promises. Promises are equal to lies. Because promises are in the future or in the past. I told you about the mental faculties. In the human mental faculties, we follow promises usually. But in the doggy world, you have to demonstrate the trust, demonstrate the leadership. So for example, I have to do something to the dog so that the dog sees that, oh, this guy is cool. This guy is trustworthy. I can trust this guy. So whenever I'm around this guy, he's providing the G and the G, which is guiding and guarding in the book, protection and direction. So as a leader, you have to always direct, and at the same time, you have to provide the basic protection, which means that the main manner or the character of a leader should be calmness. Do you personally trust a leader that is anxious? So you would feel like, oh shoot, like this guy is crazy. How can I follow this guy? So yeah, when you see like this guy is really calm, that's why I have in the Energy Foundation chapter, I demonstrate how I communicate with energy. So breathing, for example, breathing. And when your energies are chill, relax, long breath, as if you're doing meditation. Dog will feel that, The dogs don't care about your words, English words, Armenian words, Arabic, whatever. They don't care about your words. Sit, go up, whatever. If you are telling the dog to sit and your energies are really, really anxious, I see many times on the streets, somebody sees another dog and tells their dog in the middle of nowhere, just imagine you put yourself into the dog's shoes, that you are in the middle of nowhere, you see another creature like you get excited because there's not much, all human, and you get excited, and your human is so anxious, telling you, sit, sit. What would you feel? So I'm like, oh, sure, dude, cool down. You would tell him to cool down. So I always explain doggy education to my clients to really understand, how we can do. I mean, first of all, you don't give sit out of nowhere in the middle of the street. It's very weird. Number two, your energy should be very chill. You have to be like you're saying sit to the dog. So first of all, your energy should settle, and then you tell the dog to settle. You cannot be the leader as you're anxious and you're telling your people to calm down. So this is all about trust, you see. So the people will not trust you when they see that you're anxious. So those things are very basic in the book, how I explain it, how I put it in a way that this is not an ordinary obedience, negative, positive, whatever reinforcement, because usually the common methods, as I was telling, so negative reinforcement is using any kind of fear or any kind of even like hitting or something that can suppress the dog, So once you suppress the dog, you're negatively reinforcing that. So that definitely the consequences will be the same. Because whatever energy you're giving to the dog, he will return it back to you. Not in the moment, it can be later. You hit the dog, he will hit you back sometime later, maybe. So it will, anything that you suppress. And here I can open quotations and say about the tools that have been created. Choking collar, they call it prong. And there is one author, they call it gentle lead. So this is in the human world. In the doggy world, this is all the same as kicking the dog. So if me and you take my dog, go into the street right now, I put the choking collar and I choke the head of the dog, nobody will tell me anything. Nobody will tell me anything. If I kick the dog, everybody will attack me. I'm a violent person. But in the psychological thing, how much the dog will get the trauma is the same thing.
It's the same, yeah.
Exactly. So, but the other one has been marketed to be gentle, whatever. And now dog trainers all use it. Dog trainers even suggest to people to use the halter, to use the choking collar. I mean, I cannot imagine, I mean, those, in the book, I have put a special part in the book that those things have been created for special and very, very rare cases, can be used by experts very short time, as if you're taking antidepressants. You cannot take it all the time because your body will want it more and more and more. So the same goes for the dogs. We go on Instagram, you're scrolling, suddenly you see an ad says, if your dog is anxious, your dog has separation anxiety, one pill, your dog is normal. So these pills all have consequences. Eventually, the pills, the choking collar prong, the shocking collar, the other one, electronic shocks, the halter, all of these things are suppressed tools. And I explain it, what is the consequence of it? Two things. Number one is when the nervous system gets exhausted, you're over and over suppressing. The nervous system gets loose. The dog starts to go violent without warning signs. So right now, if I'm hurting Boo Boo, Boo Boo will come and growl at me. Normal, very normal, telling me that, you're hurting me. You're hurting me. I might bite you. Again, until he will bite me, you see? Or any dog, right? So dogs always speak with us, growl, or do stuff that tells us that to give distance. But if you're giving these pills, you're exhausting the nervous system by these collars and everything. The dog does not have any boundaries here. The dog does not have a warning sign. The dog will be directly biting and also wagging the tail at the same second, like a crazy guy, like I'm sitting next to you in the subway, and suddenly I slap you, and I'm still cool. Yeah, everything is fine. I mean, you say like, who is this guy just slapped me? Because I'm a crazy, mentally sick people. I would do that. The dogs become mentally ill because their nervous system is not in their hand. Number two is, as the nervous system is loose, the dog starts to randomly peeing random places. So when Boo Boo first came to me, 5 times surrendered, he used to take pills. They used to give him pills because they think that he was biting, blah blah blah. I said no, we should remove that. So the first week he was randomly peeing without lifting a leg, the regular things that dogs do, or smelling. They should smell first. So dogs, before peeing, they have to smell. So, but if their nervous system is messed up, he will just, as with sick people in the hospitals or older people, they just like do it, right? Without even, because nervous system, they can handle it anymore. So these things happens when people are using all these suppressing tools, because these tools have been created for very narrow amount of times and very special cases. Now, I have trained over 150 dogs now in this past 2-3 years. Can you believe that I've never ever used them? Never. This summer I got bitten from a big dog, Mastiff mix. I got bitten and I never used it still I didn't use it, and I got bitten because later on it turned out that the owners didn't tell me that the dog was taking pills.
Oh, yeah.
So the dog didn't give me warning sign before biting. So it's good that it didn't bite like big chunk of me, but because this was really big dog I was training. So, and other cases, I've never ever used it. Regular collar, regular leash, regular collar, regular dog. Dogs do not need anything else. And harnesses are good once your dog knows how to walk, because harnesses, they are sled dog tool. So usually you put the harness, it means that you're giving the dog the lead to pull you, unless the dog knows how to walk next to you. So harnesses are okay, are good, if the dog knows how to walk next to you. If the dog doesn't know, he will pull you definitely, because this is a pulling tool.
Yeah. Do you get mostly younger dogs, like puppies, or do you get, older dogs that you train? Both? Do you get both, or?
All, yes. All. Yeah. And,
wow.
And for, in my opinion, I have proven over and over that the quote that says the older dogs and the new tricks, that is metaphoric. That is not about dogs. So in dogs, I have trained old dogs. They did the new tricks, and I say over and over again, it's all about relationship. One, the qualities of this relationship, connection, communication, earning respect, developing trust, love, and joy. I do not care, even if it's not a dog, even if it's a pig or any other animal, or human to human. If these values, this relationship values are there, it's going to be amazing. I don't care age. I don't care about their phobias. I don't care rescue or not rescue. I don't care about all of those things. Those things are details. So it means that there can be a difference between a dog that has a phobia. I would put a couple of more sessions, probably, to earn the respect and develop the trust, than a dog that already grew up with humans. You see? So, but still, it's the same approach. So the approach is the same. You gotta put the efforts to earn the respect and develop the trust. If you don't do those things and you want to directly jump to love and joy, it means that your dog will not be dependent on you. And so if the dog is, and so there's something essential in the book I explain. So scientists has gone into the brain of a dog is equal to the brain of a human, a 3 years old human. So a 3 years old baby and a dog has the same understanding of what's happening, right? But at the same time, I put something additional in the book, which says a dog is 3 years old baby and also a well weaponized bodyguard. Well weaponized bodyguard. So which means that you got to take these two factors together. You cannot take one of them, you know. You're going to always, that's why the GG in the book, guiding and guarding, is essential. Just imagine, you know, I have a bodyguard right now, you know, with this AK-47 in his hand, like just moving around. If I don't guide him, he's just going to feel that somebody is threatening me to kill that person, you know. So I have to always guide my bodyguard to be like, you know, oh, your guns, put it down right now. These guys are okay. He was like, no, I was feeling that they were dangerous. I tell you what to do. You don't tell me what to do. You see? So this is so essential. In this day and age, anthropomorphism is when humans treat animals like another human being. So what we are doing here, we are into deep anthropomorphism. So we treat the dogs like human babies, you see? So while you're doing that, you think that you are really loving or respecting the dog. In reality, no, you're disrespecting the species. You got to understand the species, Canis lupus. Canis lupus is the main gene of the dogs, which wolves has it, ancestral, you see? So if we don't understand and study what is Canis lupus, it means that you are treating the dog like a human being, which is totally wrong. You're going to get into a lot of problems. I mean, I hug Boo Boo, you know, I carry all of these things are amazing. I sleep with sometimes. It's all good. It's all chill. But at the same time, I'm practicing the triad of the ship, I call it. Relationship, leadership, and friendship. So whenever we are in a ship, it needs a captain. Without a captain, the ship will sink, will not go forward. It's going to be in the middle of nowhere. So I always consider the ship to be in a safe zone. In some place that I'm guiding it, and the dog is very safe, feeling very chill that he is in the hands of somebody that is trustworthy. Dogs sense this thing. Humans are more stupid. They don't sense. Our choices are based on promises that this politician, this life partner, this whatever, they're gonna do good with us, and then we see that their reality is like, you know, it's totally. So, but dogs, it's not like this. Dogs sense if somebody is trustworthy of their trust. So I have a friend, sometimes I drink coffee, he's Ukrainian. He was telling me. So in Ukraine, they have a beagle. They have a very cute beagle. So his dad and his uncle take care of the dog because, everybody ran away. There's war going on. So his dad taking care of their dog. So his uncle goes to the army. And after months and months and months comes back. And the uncle got maybe mentally, something corrupt, something. So the dog started not trusting him anymore. So he sees that he's not stable. The uncle is not stable after going into the army and coming back. So my friend says that recently their dog is only following his dad, whenever the uncle wants to go to a walk, no, he's a totally different dog. He takes the lead. He knows that this guy is not trustworthy. You see? So always I say to my clients, you got to demonstrate leadership. And when we say demonstrate leadership, it's very simple exercises. Take the dog with a leash on the couch, down the couch, exercises that you are showing, fun exercises that you're showing that you're guiding the dog and everything is fine. And then you can reward.
Well, you're obviously very passionate about dogs and training. Where did your passion for dogs like begin?
When I was a little kid, my past uncle in Lebanon, where I was born in the middle of the civil war in the 80s, so he had dogs, and my mom was afraid of dogs. So I was a little kid. I was so fascinated with this dog called Jimo. This is the book. Look at Jimo and me.
Oh,
You see, this is
so
me.
cute.
You see my hair.
Yeah.
You can sense that my mom, as she didn't have a daughter,
Girl.
so she was practicing those things on me.
The pigtails.
So that's me with Jimo. So Jimo was my uncle's dog, and then my uncle started to get like bigger dogs, and I was so much like in tune with them. So so as I was a little kid, I always had like these two passions. Whenever I see you see here I have lots of electric guitars, and anywhere I see any guitar, I'm like this, or piano. Piano, guitar, I stand like this, and dogs, I'm like, I want one.
Yeah.
I was a little kid, and I really knew what I want from this life. I really knew, why am I living this life? And here I am. All of the things that I do is like, I have dedicated like decades to study them, to travel, to experience, to experiment, to research. So my goal was to be the expert of whatever my passion is. Little did I know that the worst thing in the world, like a pandemic, will guide me into my other passion.
Right. Yeah.
Like to be fruitful. And now I have my company as magicdogs.net. And then the book
And then the book came afterwards. Okay.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to write the book? What was your writing process like? Have you ever written anything before, like at all, or was this like a first time writing project for you?
Since I became a peace ambassador and I was all on the TVs and radios, people were always telling me that you should write about your journey. You were going all around the world, you're having experiences. So I started to write stuff. But honestly, I would tell you that as a singer-songwriter or a music composer, I am more of a performer than a writer. And I'm more of a speaker than a writer. So a writer is, first of all, should be like, I think that should be an expert in the language. So as I speak 4 languages here, read and write, I don't think if I'm ever expert on one of the languages. So I'm really good in 4 of them fluently. I can speak, I can do speeches, write them, read them. But in order to express yourself in a writing that anybody reads will understand the same thing, it needs different talent, that I consider that I don't have it. So that book that I was working on, still it's a process about my tours and about about my journeys and whatever. So that one is on hold. So in 2021, it was kind of lots of things changing in my life, on personal level. I was passing into like shocking times, really like down times on personal level. And suddenly I get a booking from Dallas, Texas. So I live in Center City, Philly. I get a booking in Dallas, Texas from a couple that I knew them before. So they were watching my videos and everything. So there, I consider them like good friends now. So they said, so they had 3 dogs. So they said that, especially, both of them are really business people. Each one are really expert in what they do, and they are always on Zoom calls and everything. But the dogs go crazy. So in the middle of their Zoom call, they start barking, 3 of them.
Yeah.
So many times, and they said like, there's nobody else can fix this other than you. So we're gonna, hey, whatever it is, we're gonna invite you here. And until this day, you know, they call me and they thank me how everything changed around. And it's very inspiring for me
Yeah.
because I always say that this is the inspirational circle, you know, what happens, the magic, when I see the magic happening. Um, as much as I get like booked and paid and, you know, the money
Right.
factor, for me, it's very, very rewarding.
Rewarding. Yeah.
Whenever I see things are working out and whenever I see the magic is happening, there is the Ethical Society here.
Okay.
So the leader of Ethical Society, Hugh Taft Morales, which I have his name also in the acknowledgement because he was one of the basic encouragers, and you know that he believed in me. So I told him about the Texas stories. You know, he said, Peter, you should write about these things. Like these
Yeah.
are really amazing stuff. I said, you know what? I don't really know how to start. So I just write things, you know, like, and I can correct it if the English is not expressing really how you speaking.
Yeah.
So then there is an intern, Nico Mamula. He's a teenager that works with Leader Hugh, wanted to do an interview with me for Center City Quarterly, which is a local Philadelphia Center City newspaper. So he comes and does the interview, and it was really inspiring, the interview. I was explaining him lots of stuff. So eventually he helped me out for the book also, for the writing of the book. And then I other like copywriters and friends to go,
Right.
and I sent all the names. And also I hired somebody all the way in Armenia to do the cover, as I was imagining, because
Yeah.
this love sign with doggy on it is the Philadelphia love sign. You see,
Yes.
I have a tattoo here also.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
that is the logo of Magic Toys. So everything starts to come into reality, you know, like all together. And eventually, the Center City Spotlight, we got their permission to put it as the beginning of the book. You know, the first page. This is the article about me. Yeah.
Well, do you have any exciting things for 2023 coming up? Do you have any professional goals or any book goals coming up?
So we did the book signing in a place called Le Pen Quotidien, which is a franchise, Belgian French place all over the States and all over Europe. So this place is like was also so inspiring to be like in the middle of Center City, Philly, almost like steps from the Love Sign and the City Hall.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, this event for book signing, and there was lots of people showing up. We got pictures, and you know, like once you know that you're in the middle of the city and a place like this, that you know, Saturday afternoon, there were like people coming and going. The most essential thing here was lots of people, they didn't know what was going on. Lots of people, because I was just sitting down having a coffee, some books, people, you know, like my clients come or somebody comes and I sign and we talk about pet psychology case. But for me, it's so inspiring when somebody from outside comes and asks.
Oh yeah, who doesn't know you or anything and is just like curious.
That's like, awesome. What is this book different than other training books? And I said, this is not a dog training book. This is about the relationship approach, how we can experiment and learn to practice this with our dogs, and metaphorically then remove ourselves. In the last page of the book, the last page, 2 pages of the book, I say, just right now, imagine all the things that we're talking about the dogs is metaphoric. Remove the dog and put yourself in it. Put your wife in it. Put somebody else in it. The same relationship approach, and see how it's going to work. Because the relationship approach starts with the self. Peter with Peter, Emma with Emma, and then Peter with Emma, or Emma with another person, or Peter with Boo Boo, or so. So lots of people were so interested about this thing, like.
I mean, yeah, it's really intriguing, and yeah, it makes sense. Like to just, the magic starts with you, like the title of your book. It all starts with you, and it's not just about, sit and lay down. Like it's more like intimate, I guess. The relationship between you and your dog, or relationships between humans. So yeah, that's great.
And I say 80% of doggy behavior is indirectly reinforced by humans. This is very important because I told you love and joy before listening to real love and joy. There is developing trust. This is one of the developing trust. So there's lots of examples with lots of dogs that I've practiced like this. And then once they do it and they are proud of themselves after you encourage, that energy comes back to you. And I'm telling you, that energy that comes from the dog, to me, it's so much more rewarding than money paid, even thousands of dollars. It's more rewarding because it's kind of deep euphoria that I see. The dog is like how he sees me. So that's like really, really self-rewarding thing that I love in this work that we're doing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our readers?
Yes. So recently I became a U.S. Citizen. I went to Egypt and Lebanon also. My parents are there. We did a book signing there. So we did book signing next to the American University of Beirut. And I just had few books with me, like 10, 15 books of me. And people were so much welcoming. They didn't know about it. And I was telling about Reader's Digest, Life Rich Publishing, and how we got into to work together. And sold a couple of books and signed a couple of books. And I have also like the postcards that Life Rich Publishing sent me. I gave them the postcard marks, all of those. So it was really, really exciting. And soon there is a couple of plans to happen. One of them is we're trying to put together with a coffee shop here to do a monthly gathering, like monthly book signing event. Like every month I would be around there and, trying to communicate with people and telling them about the book. This is number one. And number two is, as I have a musical album, I was telling you that I have a new book. I'm going to Europe. I'm going to Germany and other countries to tour. And always the book will be with me. So we're going to be like spreading there and, trying to...
That's amazing.
Yeah, Europe and also other states here like LA, Florida, New York, other places, Boston.
Wow.
So to be more active, around. So and lots of surprises can happen because it's also the 3rd year anniversary of Magic Dogs. Because it's March, right?
Yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, we're doing free consultation.
Congratulations.
And get into people the new message. And hopefully also going into a sequel of this book also should be coming up.
Ooh, yes, that would be great. Awesome.
Deeply talk about the things that we were talking more. So that the most essential thing that I want to wrap up this interview is that I am always seeking ways to show people that this is not just another dog training tricks, whatever book. I'm trying to show people that Doggy Education is for all. I start the interview with the for all part, not the Doggy Education part. Because lots of people, they say, we don't care about dogs, or I'm afraid from dogs, or I don't really like animals, blah, 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 blah. But I believe dogs are so essential as man's best friend and family's best companion, that they can be the bridge, that can tie us
together, to
the rest of the world. And also, it's very, very essential that they are the only animals, dogs, that are all human-made. Humans created 400 breeds to serve them, and now they became our best friend, our best companion of our family. So just imagine how much of our characters they have, you know, like as a human characters to live with the families, to live with somebody. And I know how much Boo Boo affected my life this year and a half. And accidentally he came to me. In the
Yeah.
book, his name was Lanu, and now he's just
Now
hiding
we,
behind.
yeah, we need to show him. Oh, is he sleeping? Oh, hi,
He's
Boo.
a sleepy boy. There's
Oh.
a sleepy boy. Boo Boo. Boo Boo is a sleepy boy. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
taking the time today to chat with me and to tell us about your book and all of your success and writing journey. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks.